today I've come up with a very interesting and useful topic. Many would not have even heard of this. That is called as maladaptive daydreaming. So you'll be wondering, like, daydreaming is a very common thing all of us do, and where I've not heard of. But I'm talking here about maladaptive daydreaming. That means it is a problematic daydreaming. It means you are using a wrong coping mechanism to fix your problems. So this is mostly similar to the addictions also, we would say. So this particular mental health condition was first described by Professor Eli Sommer, who belonged to the Israel. So here he talked about this particular maladaptive coping technique as a way to escape from the reality. So when we look more closely into this condition, I would like to talk about the characteristics of this particular maladaptive daydreaming and how it's differentiated from general daydreaming or mind wandering. Because whenever we would like to focus on something, be it school work or office work or anywhere, our mind would be generally wandering and we would be lost into daydreaming. But this particular maladaptive daydreaming is going to be very different from that in various aspects. The first one in the complexity of it. Because in this particular maladaptive daydreaming, people with this condition have very complex plots, like mostly like a movie story where they have lot of characters and different settings, and these characters pop up again and again. They have intense relationship with these characters. This because of this reason they don't want to get out of this daydreaming as well, because they are just lost in their dreams. And again, in one more criteria called intent, these people intentionally want to daydream. It's not that they are just lost in it without their intent. They really want to do it, and if they don't have any control over it also, because when they want that, I want to come out of it, snap out of it, they just can't. They don't have any control. So this aspect of this maladaptive daydreaming is making it more similar to the OCD condition, that is obsessive compulsive disorder, where it is more of compulsion. So they feel compelled to get into this maladaptive daydreaming, and even if they want to snap out of it, they cannot do. That is the most worst part of it. So, and one more important aspect is that this particular maladaptive daydreaming is very intense in nature, because it's very vivid and very strong, and and it's not very just like that light-hearted when it compares to general daydreaming. And in all these ways, this is different from the daydreaming aspect. And one significant way what differentiates between normal daydreaming and maladaptive daydreaming is that the consequences it has on your life, everyday life. These people with this maladaptive daydreaming have lot of shame and guilt attached to this, because they are not very happy with the way they are doing it, but just that they don't have any control. Just like that addiction, they are not happy with drinking or smoking, but then they can't let go of this habit. So they are very much affected and distressed by this, and it affects their relationship and as well as their work, as well as if they are children, their school work, and if they are college students, their college work. So every settings this having a very poor consequences on. So because of this only, in DSM category, we call it as Diagnostic Statistic Manual, this particular condition is not listed as a separate mental health condition. But a lot of therapists and practitioners are thinking about even adding this as one of the significant mental health condition in future. So actually this is linked with various other mental health disorders, majorly ADHD, that is Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. These people share the characteristics of maladaptive daydreaming aspect, as well as conditions in OCD and also dissociative disorders, as well as in even some psychotic conditions also, people have this kind of maladaptive daydreaming. So when it is diagnosed by the therapist and practitioners, it's very important that you also diagnose the existing co-occurring conditions. Accordingly, the therapeutic treatment also has to be thought about. And you may be wondering, it's just daydreaming and why should we require treatment and all that. You always have to keep in mind the kind of impact it has on your life, and it's very important that it has to be intervened, and right time the treatment has to start as well. And what are the other symptoms? What these people actually feel like while they're doing this maladaptive daydreaming? You could see them actually getting into actions or repetitive motor movements, and also them talking to themselves, thinking that they're talking to the characters, and also they may be whispering, and also they may be moving here and there. So all these are very disturbing. In fact, when they are going to do it in an office setup, or thinking that they are alone, but if it is going to be figured out by other people, then they may be having a lot of shame and guilt, and they'll be finding it very difficult to come out of that daydreaming they are into, because they are just lost in their own internal thought processes, and they disconnect and dissociate from the reality. So you may be wondering, if it is causing so much distress, then why would people do this? What are the causes of this maladaptive daydreaming? The major causes are that They just want to disassociate or disconnect from the overwhelming reality, because when people get into a lot of insurmountable problems, they just want to escape from the reality. Mostly when people have too much of problem, they just want to escape and go into this kind of mode called maladaptive daydreaming. And also it's very rewarding on its own, because they have very favorite endings, happy endings, so they just want to get lost in the characters. And people who have this who have undergone this bullying and have social relationship issues, who cannot speak up, and all these people are very happy and content with this kind of maladaptive daydreaming, where they are lost and they feel that they are very strong in that their own dream process, because they are the hero of their dreams. So obviously they want to build lot of positive things associated with their own characters. So they are very happy about the rewarding experience. That is why they want to go into again and again. But it's like when you drink alcohol, it feels good, but after that doesn't feel good, right? Similarly, when you're daydreaming, it is fine, you're happy, enjoying it, it's rewarding. But after that, you feel a lot of shame and guilt and distress because of it. And most importantly, the practitioners and the researchers have found out that this particular maladaptive daydreaming is associated with childhood abuse and also childhood trauma. So people who have experienced this kind of issues, not necessarily they should have gone through, but this is one of the important things. They might have gone through early child abuse or a child neglect in parenting, and all these factors also could lead to maladaptive daydreaming. So having said all this, this can affect people at any age, even starting from childhood also, children, teen and young adults. Mostly the demographic details are young adults are experiencing this kind of maladaptive daydreaming, which can actually break their career as well as their relationship. So what are the therapeutic options available for them? The treatments are, you have to look into, as I already said, look into the co-occurring conditions. If they're having severe anxiety issues, treating the anxiety through psychiatric medications or through psychotherapy, and also treating this condition through cognitive behavior therapy can really help them come out of this condition. But a lot of researchers are still going on to come out with the right therapeutic technique. Currently, whatever therapeutic technique available for the co-occurring conditions can also help reduce the condition called maladaptive daydreaming. And one important technique would be to write down when you have this daydreaming, when you are mostly triggered by this, because it's very important that people who are suffering from this has to look into the triggers of it. The major triggers can be any topics or conversations, and also any kind of music, and if they are listening to any social media content, sometimes watching movies, and also some smells and any kind of sensory stimulus, and also can trigger this kind of maladaptive daydreaming. So first you can write in a journal about what are the triggers which actually got you started, and how are you feeling compelled, and what do you feel like when you come out of it, what is stopping you to do it. So when you are becoming more and more aware of this condition and how it is affecting you, that's the first step for recovery. And the next step, the therapist would also give you a lot of techniques like mindfulness, mindful meditation, and being in the present, and how to handle the problems in hand, coping strategies, effective coping strategies, because this is a very wrong, maladaptive means itself, it is a wrong coping strategy you are using to handle the life's problem. So when you know the right problem solving coping strategies, and all these techniques can actually help you to manage this very distressful condition called as maladaptive daydreaming. So if anybody would experience this, you need not feel bad, because you are not alone. There are many people, large amount of people are experiencing this, but they have shame and guilt, so they don't they don't come out and express that I have this. In my counseling experience, I've seen few clients expressing that they have this maladaptive daydreaming as as an isolated condition, and also a part of different anxiety disorders as well, and also as a part of attachment issues, which can be a problem in their marital relationship as well. So people, whenever you feel like you're having this condition, it's high time like you speak out and don't feel you're alone. And you can comment also in this video to say that you've had this condition, and you can find support group where you can find people in your own community seeing that you're not alone. And definitely with the proper therapeutic intervention, you can come out of it and prosper your life. So I think this piece of video was helpful for you, and if you could relate to this condition, or if you feel that someone could be help through this kind of video, please do share this, and I'll come again with yet another useful video. Have a great day.